Hello, beautiful people. Today we'll be covering part 3 of how school damaged you. So today I want to start off by talking about how school created an aversion for studying. Now, this is a phenomena that I have observed quite a lot in a lot of people that I've met, which is that they have this assumption that somehow just having gone to school for like those 12 years or 16 years of like school plus college is like, oh, I got all the information that I need. That was the point of going to this place anyways. And now I don't want to study anything. Now, just look at how uh, we take something like this to be so obvious when it actually is not. And it truly is something that is quite detrimental to our psychological, performance in a sense. Because imagine a condition where if you were a child and you were free to choose what you wanted to study, and then like you slowly picked up whatever it is that you did pick up, and then you explored those topics, you would slowly develop the habit of learning things for yourself. But instead, what happened in school is that because we were in this position where a lot of these things were like imposed on us, and also they were imposed on us in a very unpleasant way, we have all more or less formed very deep unpleasant associations with the concept of studying. It's somehow not an enjoyable task in most people's mind. It is just this thing that you have to do. And yeah, I mean, you had to do it in school because you had no choice. But as soon as you've left that, now you have a choice and you don't need to do it anymore. And when I'm talking about like studying books, I don't mean just reading them. I don't mean like reading Harry Potter or even a good book, just going through it like once. This is another deep concept that we have never really, quite a lot of us have never really understood the concept of studying. It is about getting into the depth of a topic to a level where you are able to comprehend it deeply for yourself and apply those principles into your own life. Unfortunately, this is not what we were doing in school. Instead, we were just memorizing things and then regurgitating them in the exams. Now, coming to how this aversion for studies were created, well, one of the things is punishment for sure, because I remember a lot when I was in school that it was a very unpleasant experience to be slapped by a teacher. And it's just strange that we consider something like this to be acceptable and normal in our society. Like even being punished where I'm being asked to like kneel down outside the class is kind of not the most pleasant thing to do, like which I was doing a lot actually when I was in my ninth class. And like in fact quite a lot, like I would spend so much time outside the class. It was just absurd, like kneeling down. Like I think my knees got pretty strong doing that. But anyways, so here's what used to happen in my school almost for every class. It's like one teacher would come in and they would just start off by doing some time pass. And after that, they would ask, okay, who all didn't do their homework from yesterday? And somehow I would end up raising my hand. I'd be like, yeah, I didn't kind of do my homework. And then like, okay, they would send us out to kneel down outside the class. Or in some cases, like the teacher would like even come and, it's like pull your, tie and like slap you and stuff. And this is extremely unpleasant. Like, especially the slapping part was like the worst freaking thing that I could imagine. But then even the kneeling down, it's like today you send me outside to kneel down and, and then like I'm already not motivated to study. Now you send me out to kneel down. And then tomorrow you come again and then you ask like, hey, who all didn't do their homework? I was freaking not even inside the class. What the hell? Yeah, and this is what they sort of expect. Now, the next thing that they do is the destruction of your self-worth. Like, unless you're like the topper in the class, or you're coming like just first, second, third, something like that, like somehow you're like this massive disappointment for your parents, for yourself. And it's just, I remember dreading like parent teacher meeting, it's like I would be like, oh my god, how can I escape this stuff, how can I get myself out of this situation. And yeah, and the worst thing is like the teacher would always start with like, oh, he has so much potential, but then, and then, but then comes, and then boom, it's like they'll freaking, this whole list is there that they unload on your brain. And then of course, like, they're telling all of this to my mom, and then just cumulatively, as a child, you don't really know how to deal with these things. And to me personally, they used to make me feel like shit, like it was really messed up. And it was not just me who was going through this stuff. I know so many of my friends who just, in fact, even now, probably uh, the one who's listening right now, you too, probably, it's like you might not really be able to ascertain how much of your self-worth has really been damaged. Because when I meet people in general these days, like not a lot of people have that much self-confidence where they feel like, hey, you know what, I can actually tackle the world. If there are problems, I know how to solve them, and I know what to do, and I can figure things out. Like, this is the kind of confidence that I'm seeing is not really there in a whole lot of people. Now, the next thing is that they also destroy your creativity, because everyone is like packed into these tiny little boxes. It's like, yeah, schools, classroom, this grid network of rows and columns, and then you're wearing this uniform like a factory worker, just, I don't know, blue shorts and white shirt, some shit like that. And yeah, and then you just have to sit there and do whatever is being told. And it doesn't really matter what is going on inside my brain right now. I don't have any choice. Like, if at this moment in time I want to draw, I cannot. Like, there's maths class going on, so that time I have to be doing that. And when the art teacher comes along, man, my art teacher was like the worst. Like, freaking, this dude was sinister. Like, like first thing he comes, I don't know, he would take like, out of a class of 45 minutes, just spend 30 minutes doing punishments for all those who did not bring their art book. Like, this is how you teach art to children, by beating the crap out of them for not bringing your art book to the class. And then you're supposed to have fun doing this stuff. You're like, yeah, la la la, let me draw some stuff, after getting smacked the crap out of myself. Like, yeah, obviously, your creativity takes a huge toll, because yeah, you don't really, because you need nurturing and freedom to explore your creative side. And that's something that is never really, done in school. Now, the next thing that schools are doing like a lot is to get you ready for a life of stress. Now, I cannot stress enough on this point of how much of a fucked up deal this is. Like, truly, like, just think about it for some time. Just, here's the thing: when you were born as a child, you were already amazing. All children are awesome. They're like these precious jewels of existence that come from the universe. There's like this source energy coming, and they're like, whoa, life's amazing, I'm here to do some kick-ass things, and life's an adventure. And then we send them to school, and then we destroy all of that. Because just look at children, they are so capable of having fun all the time. They don't need you to spend half a crore on a car in order to feel happy. They come bootloaded with that system of happiness. They just know how to chill and enjoy and have a wonderful time in life. But we take these beautiful beings, put them in this system where we're like, hey, you know what, everything else that you feel like doing, no, screw all of that, stop everything, and then start studying what I tell you. Even if you're like 4-year-old, like, freaking study Twinkle Twinkle or something like that, or Johnny Johnny, some crap like that. Like, and pretty soon these things like might start out as like nursery rhymes, it's like, yeah, we're in kindergarten and all that. But pretty soon it's like, yeah, now my brain is fixed on things that I'm not really wanting to do. And if you don't do that, like, you mess up. And this is like this stress that we're putting on these beautiful creatures. And look at it, the proof is like out there. Like, when you look at adults, to me, most adults don't seem like fun beings. They're just messed up in life anyways. It's like and here we took the most fun beings in the planet and then turned them into adults. And that's exactly what school is doing. It should actually be the other way around. As adults, we should be learning from children how to freaking enjoy life, because that's the point of life, to have a good time. Not like, oh, freaking, I make a career. And do what? Freaking die one day, like retire. And I don't know, people don't have any clue what they're going to do after the retirement, anyways. Now, the next thing that schools do, which is also pretty messed up, is to create a life where all of your motivations are based on fear. Just think about this. Because when you started out as a small child, life was amazing and things would pull you in. And that's how you would go into things. Like, if you want to play with a toy, you feel like playing with it and then you play with that. If you feel like drawing, you draw. Whatever you feel like doing, you do. Like, you want to play with your other kids, you play with them. And these are all intrinsic motivations of joy and celebration. And that is what kids are naturally doing. And then we take that and then we flip it around and put them in a position where now almost all of your motivations are based on fear. It's like, oh my God, there's like a maths exam tomorrow, and I don't know anything. Or, oh my God, like, what if I don't do this homework? Like, tomorrow she's going to like slap the crap out of me in front of the whole class. And I don't want that. Something like that. And then it doesn't just stop there. Once this is done to you for 12 to 16 years or probably longer, then you're set for life. Even as like a 40-year-old man or a woman, you don't realize that your motivations in life are based on fear. No wonder everyone is having such a stressful life, just jumping from like one fear and anxiety to the next. It's like doing things so that things don't get fucked up. Imagine how low quality of way of living life this is. Rather than being here in life and looking at life as this massive adventure where, I'm here to like check this place out and it's like amazing and there's so many things going on. No, instead it's just, I'm trying to not mess up, not trying to like fuck things up. And that's what is moving me from day to day and event to event. Why should I go to office today? Not because I love it, because if I don't go 2-3 days regularly, then my boss will take my trip or they'll fire me. And then if I lose my job, I'll lose this and I'll lose that. Like, oh my God, what if I like, what the hell? Where's the sense of adventure? All gone. It was not accidental, man. Some things were done there, planned and done. Now, the next thing is also isolation for poor performance. Like, if you mess up and well, some of my friends have gone through this, they've like quite traumatic experiences for them, which is that for whatever reason, if you're not able to comprehend, like if your brain is designed in a different way, and if you're not able to connect with what is being taught in class, and you're branded as a bad student, there is so much isolation that you receive. Like, there are many kids who might not want to even connect with you because parents are like, oh, no, don't hang out with that kid. He's dumb fuck or something. And yeah, so yeah, like this is something that happens, and it's pretty bad for the kid because it takes decades sometimes to like get yourself out of that. And some people probably don't even manage to get themselves out of that. Now, the next thing that is also pretty important to consider about what schools are doing is, one, they get to decide what information should exist in your brain. Now, I don't know how many of you are able to comprehend how big of a deal this truly is. Because if you were free from the beginning and if you had to decide by yourself, moment to moment, day to day, that what is it that I am going to explore today? Am I going to explore plants? Am I going to explore soil? Am I going to explore water? Am I going to spend time with animals? Every skill is a skill, but school somehow says that no, only the things that we picked are skills and they are important and everything else is irrelevant. Just to give you an example, maybe some of you have heard of this guy, Caesar Milan. It's called the dog whisperer. I guess he spent so much of his time in his childhood being with animals and mostly with dogs that he understood them so deeply that he's now made a whole career out of it. So who are they to tell you what is valuable and what is not? That's the thing that you need to understand. Like, even if you specialize in understanding dogs really well, you could make a beautiful living out of that and you could have a wonderful time because you chose to do that. But instead, because you went to this institution, they decided what should be in your brain. And as a function of deciding what should be in your brain, there's also the function of eliminating all the things that we did not choose for you. For example, you might have no skills with interfacing with dogs. Cool, you might be like, how do I care? But most of you have really lousy skills in interfacing with other humans as well. Because that's what I've seen in the world. Most people have really bad relationships. Like even people who are like boyfriend, girlfriend, and husband, wife. Honestly, not so many people that I know live truly harmoniously, not taking each other's trips all the time. It's just this delicate balance that people somehow maintain. It's not like everybody that I meet is like, a wonderful time. No, that's because your skills and your ways of interfacing with some of these things were never really allowed to blossom and flourish. Like topics such as money, this is in the depths, in the core, like, where does it come from? How does it get its value? What are the implications of all of these things? They never really taught. Or things like propaganda, like, how does that work? What has been happening in the past? How did empires and civilizations manage to do some of the most heinous things that they've managed to do? Never really covered. Why? It's not accidental that these things are not covered. There's a absolute solid reason behind it. And like spirituality is like Advaitam and things like that, never really covered. Or take Tantric Sex. Well, the topic of sex itself is like such a taboo. Like, why the hell? To me, it's something that could be deeply spiritual as well. Like Tantric Sex, for example, if to those of you who've never really heard of it, it's a concept where two humans, rather than being involved too much in a physical act, it's more of an energetic act where they are transferring energy between the two of them. They form this loop. Now, so many people, for them, the concept of energy itself is like, oh, ooh, like what the hell does that mean? Now, man, you have an energy body. Like energy is what animates your body, and you can do a whole lot of things. You can like move it around, and yeah, different things can be done. Now, the next thing is also about educational institutions getting you started on your journey towards debt slavery. Because here's the thing, most 17, 18-year-olds are probably not in the best headspace to make financial decisions which are going to influence them for the next 10, 15 years of their life. And also what happens is once you've been in that trap for the next 10, 15 years, you're just going to perpetuate that. And unfortunately, that's what happens to a lot of people. And if you've gone to any one of these institutions of higher education, and then you ended up taking whatever amount of loan that you took many, many years to repay, like now there is no way for you to like get out of that and then explore life for yourself. Like you spent the first 16, 17 years of your life in this system where you couldn't like explore life. And then without giving you any pause, without allowing you an opportunity to go and explore things for yourself and see, hey, what are the other options which are available to me? You are put in this other loop pretty much instantaneously. And as soon as you're there, and then a couple of years have gone and you don't have the liberty like to quit your job and explore things for yourself, and then society comes along with its few other bad ideas, and pretty soon you have a home loan and a car loan, and you know how the rest of that story goes. Yeah, so these are some of the ways in which school has damaged you, and I hope you liked today's video as much as I liked.